Sharen Mae Bonbon, and I am from Group 2. We are going to tackle about the circle or background. But before that, let's start with introduction. Cyrene?
Welcome to the world of data visualizations where insights come to life. Today, we're diving into the dynamic realm of circle graphs, also known as the mesmerizing pie charts. In a world flooded with information, the ability to transform raw data into captivating visuals is an invaluable skill. Crafting a circle graph is like painting a masterpiece. Start with a blank canvas, divide it into delectable slices, and watch as your data dances to the rhythm of interpretation. From boardrooms to classrooms, from marketing pitches to scientific discoveries, circle graphs steal the spotlight, illuminating trends and patterns with unparalleled charisma. Pie chart, also known as a circle graph, is a circular statistical graphic that divides a circle into slices to represent the proportion of different categories in a data set. Each slice represents a category, and the size of the slice corresponds to the proportion of the whole the category represents. Another, certainly, imagine you have a delicious pizza, but instead of just savoring each slice, you want to understand how the toppings are distributed across the entire pie. That's where a pie chart comes into play. A pie chart slices up your data like the slices of pizza, showing you at a glance how different parts contribute to a whole. Each slice represents a category or group, and the size of the slice tells you how big a proportion of the whole it represents. It's like taking a quick bite of your data and simply grasping which parts are the biggest or smallest. Whether you're dividing or expenses in a budget, examining market shares, or exploring survey response, pie chart serve as your data and visually tasty and easy to digest format. Just be careful not to get hungry while analyzing your data. Kobe and Arabela, tell me about the history.
We are going to talk about the history of a pie chart or a pie graph. So, the concept of a pie chart or a circular graphical representation of data has been around for centuries. The earliest known of a pie chart can be traced back to the 17th century, when Scottish engineer William Playfair used circular diagrams to show the relative sizes of different countries' economies. Over the years, the use of pie charts has evolved and become more widespread.
Did you know, in the early 20th century, Florence Nightingale, known as the founder of modern nursing, used pie chart to show the causes of death among the British soldiers during the Crimean War. This was one of the earliest known examples of pie charts being used for data visualization and analysis. Today, pie charts are commonly used in a wide range of fields including business, finance, and education, to quickly and easily show the proportion of percentages of different categories within a data set. While there has been some debate about the effectiveness of pie charts, they remain a popular and widely used tool for visualizing data.
Today, I'm going to define a pie chart, or sometimes called a circle chart. A pie chart is a way of summarizing a set of nominal data or displaying the different values of a given variable percentage distribution. This type of chart is a circle divided into a series of segments. Each segment represents a particular category. The area of each segment is the same proportion of a circle as the category is of the total data set.
We shall now look into the key terms and its definition. Sector: a pie-shaped section of circle formed by the arc and its two radii. It represents a category or a data set. Central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of the circle. Radius: the distance from the center of the circle to any point of its circumference. Diameter: any straight line segment that passes through the center of the circle and whose endpoint lies in the circumference of the circle. Arc: the curved portion of the circle's circumference that corresponds to the sector. Chord: a straight line segment whose endpoints both lie on a circular arc. Circumference, the linear distance of the circle's edge. Legend, an area of a diagram that identifies colors or patterns assigned to categorize from a table. Percentage, the portion of the circle each sector represents, often expressed as a percentage. Data labels, numeric values or labels associated with each sector, indicating the specific data point or category it represents. Title, offers a short explanation of what's in your graph. Now, tell us the steps and procedures of circles or pie graph, Gercan.
Steps and procedures.
Creating a circle or pie graph involves several steps and procedures. Here's a detailed breakdown of the process. Number 1, we have defined the data. Start by gathering the data that you want to represent in the graph. This could be numerical data that represents different categories or parts of a whole. Number 2, we have calculate percentages. If you're creating a pie graph, calculate the percentage that each category or part represents of the whole. The total of all percentages should up to 100%. Number 3, you have draw the circle. Draw a circle as the base for the pie graph. This will be the outline of the entire graph. Number 4, we have the angles and sectors. Based on the percentages calculated, divide the circles into the sectors or angles that represent each category or part. The central angle for each sector is proportional to the percentage it represents. Number 5, we have the labeling. Label each sector with the name of the category it represents. You can also include the percentage or actual value of each category, if applicable. Number 6, we have the color coding. Use different colors to fill in the sector, making it visually distinct from the others. This helps in visually distinguishing between different categories. Number 7, we have the title and legend. Include a title for the pie graph indicating what the pie graph represents. Add a legend to indicate what each color represents and the value or percentage it represents. Number 8, we have the review and adjust. Once the graph is complete, review it to ensure accuracy and clarity. Make any necessary adjustments to labels, colors, or layout for the better visual presentation.
I am going to tell you the sample problems. So a nurse is conducting a study on the prevalence of different chronic diseases among elderly patients in a nursing home. She collects data on 5 common chronic diseases, which are the hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, and respiratory disease. The nurse wants to present the data using a pie graph. So the nurse gathers the following data. So first, hypertension have 30 patients, diabetes have 20 patients, arthritis have 15 patients, heart disease have 10 patients, and lastly, respiratory disease has 5 patients. So using this data, create a pie graph to visually represent the distribution of these chronic diseases among the elderly patients in the nursing home. So here are the following questions. Number 1 is, which chronic disease is the most prevalent among the elderly patients? 2, which chronic disease is the less prevalent among the elderly patients? 3, what percentage of the elderly patients have arthritis? And 4, the last one, what percentage of the elderly patients have heart disease?
Step 1. Let's calculate the total patients. Hypertension has 30 patients, plus arthritis has 20 patients, plus diabetes has 15 patients, plus heart disease has 10 patients, plus respiratory disease has 5 patients. So the total patients is 80 patients.
So now, step 2. we are going to calculate the percentage of each chronic diseases. So, percentage is equals parentheses number of patients divided by total of patients parentheses times 100. So now we are going to get the percentage for hypertension. Percentage of hypertension is equals to 30 over divided by 80 times 100 is equals to 37.5. For diabetes, percentage of diabetes is equals to parentheses 20 divided by 80 parentheses times 100 is equals to 25%. So now we're going to arthritis. Percentage of arthritis is equals to 15 divided by 80 times 100 equals 18.75. For heart disease, percentage of heart disease is equals to parentheses 10 divided by 80 parentheses times 100 is equals to 12.5%. And now for the last one, we are going to get the percentage of respiratory disease. Respiratory disease is equals to 5 divided by 80 parentheses times 100. Can you guess the answer? I hear it, 6.25%.
So step 3, create the pie graph using the percentage calculated in step 2. Create a pie graph with 5 sections representing each chronic disease. The size of each section should correspond to the percentage calculated. So we have here the pie graph. The percentage of hypertension is 37.5%. The percentage in diabetes is 25%. The percentage of arthritis is 18.75%. The percentage of heart disease is 12.5%. The percentage of respiratory disease is 6.25%. Now, can you answer those questions, Pareja?
I can surely will. Thanks for the graph. Right now, I'll be going to show you the answer of those questions. Question 1. Which chronic disease is the most prevalent among the elderly patients? The answer is hypertension. Question number 2. Which chronic disease is the least prevalent among all the elderly patients? The answer is respiratory disease. Question 3. What percentage of the elderly patients have arthritis? The answer is 18.75%. Last question. What percentage of the elderly patients have heart disease? The answer is 12.5%.
Conclusion of the circle or the pie graph typically involves analyzing the percentage or proportion represented by each sector of the graph. It allows us to understand the distribution of the data and identify any trends or patterns. For example, if we have a pie graph representing our favorite subject of the students in class, we can draw conclusion about the most popular subjects based on the large sector of the graph. We can also compare the sizes in different sectors to determine the relative popularity of each subject. Circle graphs show how the parts of something compare to each other. The circle graph also give us a good picture of each part compared to whole thing. Percentage of the total sample are usually displayed in the sectors. Common uses for the circle graph includes displaying polls, results, survey data, and proportion of different categories. It provides summary of the data represents in the graph and allows us to make observation or draw conclusion based on the information displayed.
Do you know now how to make pie chart? If yes, hooray!